Deep dive. Today we're tackling a huge topic, one that seems simple on the surface, but it's incredibly complex. We're talking about success.
Yeah, the architecture of achievement.
Exactly. And what we've done is synthesize a whole stack of global bestsellers, from the foundational stuff like Napoleon Hill all the way to modern books on habits to really distill the core philosophy.
And we had to do that because if you read them one by one, they can almost feel like they're competing theories.
Right.
But when you zoom out, what we found is that the literature on success across decades, even continents, it's remarkably consistent.
So what's the big takeaway?
The central finding is that success isn't something you just, stumble into. It's not luck. It is the direct, predictable result of the internal operating system you design for yourself.
An operating system built on what?
Based on your mindset, your conscious choices, and this is the most important part, your daily repetitions.
Your habits.
Your habit.
Absolutely. And our mission today, for you, is to help connect those dots. We want to show how that internal mastery, the stuff people often ignore, like self-kindness and courage, how that actually builds the structure for external achievement.
Whether that's wealth or mastering a skill.
Or just personal freedom.
Yeah.
But we have to start not with the bank account or the big house, but right inside the mind.
That's it. Before any success is visible on the outside, it has to be constructed mentally. So we're starting with the blueprint.
Okay, let's unpack that. According to the sources that really focus on mindset, like Think and Grow Rich, this blueprint has 3 very specific, and I'd say pretty demanding mental pillars.
Right.
Now, we've all heard set a goal, but this formula is much, much sharper. The first pillar is a clear, decided wanting.
And it's the specificity that really matters there.
Yes. You can't just want more money. You have to decide on the exact figure. You can't just want better health. You have to define what that state looks like, feels like, down to the last detail. It has to be concrete.
Concrete enough to visualize. And that visualization is so essential because it feeds directly into the second pillar, which is deep belief or faith in that goal.
And this isn't just passive wishing, right? It's not hoping it happen.
No, it's an active internal conviction. The sources actually suggest that if you're struggling to believe in your goal, you probably haven't been specific enough in that first step. The mind needs a clear target to lock onto.
And then, of course, the third pillar is continuous, persistent action. That's the engine. But, okay, I have to push back a little here.
Go for it.
If the formula is that clear, know what you want, believe it, work hard, why do so many of us get stuck? Why does the mental construction just collapse before it even gets going?
That is the crucial question. And the magic of thinking big gives us a really powerful answer. It comes down to our own beliefs about ourselves.
How so?
The smallest limitation we ever face is a small belief. If you see yourself as small, as someone who isn't capable or who always kind of fails,
your results are going to match that.
They'll perfectly match that internal expectation. It's a classic self-fulfilling prophecy.
So the problem isn't the goal. The problem is the filter through which you're seeing yourself and the world.
Precisely. Thinking big isn't just some fluffy motivational quote. It's a fundamental redesign of that internal filter. It's about how your brain works to confirm your existing beliefs.
Okay, say more about that.
Well, if you truly believe you're unworthy of a major promotion, your brain will literally filter out opportunities or contacts or even the internal drive that could lead you there. Thinking big is about overriding that restrictive filter. It changes the quality of your daily decisions.
Because you're looking for evidence that supports a bigger self-image.
Exactly. And you'll never generate the persistence that third pillar demands if you're operating from a small self-image.
That makes perfect sense. But this is where the synthesis gets really interesting for me. It's not just about a specific goal. Success demands we address our entire internal environment. It demands courage.
Yes. We're moving from, tactical goal setting to the kind of internal hygiene you need to sustain the journey. The Alchemist speaks to this so well.
With the personal legend.
Exactly. True success means having the nerve to follow your unique path, to actually listen to that voice of your heart, and to overcome the fears that keep you stuck.
I was really struck by how the book emphasizes that the world seems to cooperate with you once you commit. The moment you start moving, resources and signs and people just appear.
It's the universe or the market, whatever you want to call it, responding to decisive action. But you can't take that action if your internal environment is, for lack of a better word, toxic.
Right.
And sources like, You Can Heal Your Life show that negative states, specifically blame, guilt, and anger, are huge obstacles to growth. They're just energy sinks.
That feels so relevant right now. We talk about managing our time, but what about managing the mental energy we waste on old grievances?
It's a huge drain.
So what's the cleanup protocol? How do you clear out that emotional rubble?
The path is paved with three things: acceptance, forgiveness, and self-kindness. You just cannot dedicate your full mental energy to building a future if a part of your brain is constantly punishing you for the past.
And that's not about being weak. It's about being strategic.
It's about mental efficiency, which flows perfectly into what we learn from A New Earth, that our deepest suffering comes from the mind's interpretation of reality, not reality itself.
Oh, for sure. The mental drama we create around a delayed email or a comment on social media. The event is tiny, neutral even, but our mind builds this whole narrative of crisis around it.
Exactly. So the key to the deep peace you need for focused work is living in the present moment, actively distancing yourself from those negative thoughts. Peace, in this context, isn't a vacation. It's the foundation for your work.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint. A clear, believing mind, fortified by courage, maintained by internal peace. But a blueprint is useless without an engine to actually build the thing.
That's right. If mindset is the architecture, habits are the engine that constructs the structure, day by day.
And success is never a sudden leap.
Never. It's the cumulative result of small, repeated actions. And Atomic Habits just crystallizes this truth so brilliantly with the 1% rule.
I love that idea. It's so powerful because it's just removes that psychological barrier of needing to make a massive overnight change.
Which is why most people fail. They try to go from 0 to 100 in a day. The 1% rule is about focusing on tiny, consistent improvements, just 1% better every day.
And the math on that is staggering. You end up, 37 times better after a year?
Something like that. The whole focus shifts away from the distant goal, which can feel totally overwhelming, and onto the systems you use every day. Your habits literally define your identity.
Wait, say that again. They define your identity.
Yes, you don't achieve discipline. You become a disciplined person by repeating small, disciplined actions. It's a shift from outcome to identity.
So the goal isn't just to hope for motivation to show up. It's to redesign your system so that the good habit is just easier to do than the bad one.
Exactly. It's about making your environment support the identity you're trying to build. But that requires another key ingredient: responsibility. And that's where the 7 habits of highly effective people comes in.
Okay.
It says that effective people, first and foremost, accept radical responsibility for their lives.
They stop the blame game. They own their results, good or bad.
And then the second step is they prioritize. They proactively do the important, often difficult tasks first, the things that build towards their vision, before all the urgent but low-value stuff that screams for our attention.
So external success is really just the result of that internal discipline.
It's the unavoidable outcome of it.
But I think we need to be clear. This focus on discipline, it's not about making life easy, is it?
Not at all. In fact, 12 Rules for Life makes a really strong point that real strength is built when we accept and even welcome difficulty.
That's such a necessary counterpoint.
It is. Life is inherently challenging. Real success is about building a character that's strong enough to stand firm during those hard times. Operating with discipline makes you more resilient, not less. You don't get strong by avoiding heavy things.
So let's say you do all this. You maintain that disciplined, intentional life. You have the clear mind, the 1% habits. You accept responsibility. What does that actually yield in the tangible world?
Now we shift to external mastery. And this is where Rich Dad, Poor Dad delivers its most, I think, disruptive message.
Which is?
It challenges the entire model of labor we were taught. The wealthy don't fundamentally work for money.
They work to build assets.
They use their time and resources to build assets that generate income for them. Passively.
That is a massive paradigm shift. I mean, most of us were told, study hard, get a safe job, climb the corporate ladder.
And that's a linear income path. This is about shifting to exponential income. It's about having your money start working for you instead of you always working for it.
And the book argues that financial literacy, just understanding how money works, is more valuable than a university degree.
More valuable than a generalized degree, for sure. Knowing the difference between an asset that puts money in your pocket and a liability that takes money out. That's the core of it. True freedom begins when your assets pay for your lifestyle.
Okay, so this mirrors what we saw with habits. It's about building systems, in this case financial systems. But no success happens in a vacuum. It's relational. You have to be able to connect and influence people.
Absolutely. This is where we get into social capital. And How to Win Friends and Influence People offers these principles that can feel almost counterintuitive today.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, Carnegie's whole philosophy is rooted in a simple truth. People want to be seen and heard. So if you want to influence someone, you have to avoid direct criticism.
Even if they're wrong.
Especially then. You use constructive praise, you draw attention to mistakes indirectly, you change behavior not by correcting them, but by appealing to their nobler motives, their desire to be a good person.
So you're taking that inner work we talked about, the self-kindness, the forgiveness, and you're applying it outward to other people.
You're choosing respect over confrontation. You're acknowledging their need for self-importance. Influence is earned by listening, by communicating honestly, and by focusing on their needs, not just your own.
It's another layer of capital. It's essential.
No great success is built alone.
Wow. This has been a really seamless synthesis. We've pulled together psychology, habits, finance, relationships, all into one unified playbook. It shows that achievement isn't some great mystery. It's a process.
It really is. To summarize this whole deep dive, the message from all these sources is that success is the convergence of four things.
Let's hear them.
An aware mind that fosters self-kindness, the development of correct habits through 1% systems, maintaining healthy relationships built on respect, and continuous movement along your own unique path.
That clarity is fantastic. And I think the most liberating truth in all of this is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to transform overnight.
No, you just need consistency. You just need to be consistently a little more aware of your thoughts, a little more disciplined with your systems, and a little more courageous than you were yesterday.
The path starts right now.
It starts in this moment with one tiny decision to be 1% better.
So if transformation is really catalyzed by just 1% daily improvement, we want to leave you with a thought to take with you. Considering your own internal operating system, your mind, your habits, your finances, what is the single small system you can implement in the next 24 hours? Not a huge goal, but a tiny, repeatable habit that will start to shift the person you're becoming. Think about that as you continue your own deep dive.